Hey, welcome back, guys. Raising Kanan's 9th episode ended with a bit of a twist, with Rock finalizing her plans of expansion and absolute rule at the expense of her now estranged relationship with her son. The removal of her de facto mentor was vital in her underworld coup and mutually beneficial for her and Lou, but could present further strains on their relationship in the finale and beyond. And Marvin's character took another gigantic leap in the midst of emotional turmoil and its aftermath. I'm here to break it all down in typical Top 10 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Power. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, an unhappy shooter. Jimmy, Sal's henchman, who carried out the hit on Marvin that cost him his love interest to be, is shown having a good old time bowling with his crew for what would be the final time. After the festivities, Jimmy makes his way to his car, only to be confronted by the barrel of Lulu's gun. Without even a chance to get out his last words, Lou takes him out of his criminal-filled misery, as expounded upon by a grown-up Kanan via narration. WTF moment number 9, a tear at death's door. Immediately following Jimmy's karma for shooting at Marvin and his innocent counselor turned romantic interest Renee, we get confirmation that he indeed killed her. At Nate's funeral, Marvin fights back guilt-filled tears for the death of someone so critical to his personal and emotional growth. A person who aided Marvin in mending fences with his daughter, who up to last episode hadn't said more than a handful of words to him following their violent fallout from season 1. The restricted tears from Renee's homegoing were transferred to his later conversation with Juke, and his vulnerable display therein only deepened their bond, and Marvin's subsequent resolve to spare the innocent in the name of virtue going forward. WTF moment number 8, the fisherman's tale. Cartier offers Lou yet another unwanted musical suggestion, much to his chagrin. Then, he steps in between a request from a desperate famous and gives the young'un a lesson on teaching a man to fish versus fishing for him, an age-old adage on self-sufficiency and independence. Lou looks on in disgust at the ordeal and openly tires of Cartier's meddling in his music business affairs, something that will lead to Cartier's fatal conclusion in the final moments. WTF moment number 7, exposure. Crackhead Sam is locked up on some petty charge and begins running his mouth about Howard's true shooter. Though many disregard his drug-induced overtures, Burt gives them merit, carefully piecing together his disjointed rhetoric in order to solve her independent case against her former partner and the wishes of Captain Baptiste. This leads to the captain contacting Internal Affairs due to his suspicion over her inquiries. WTF moment number 6, terms of agreement. Rock successfully springs Tremont's man from prison with her lawyer at the helm and discusses further terms to expand with Cartier's boss. The apprehensive crime lord refuses any confirmation until Cartier is permanently out of the way, which Rock promises ever so subtly in the coldest of fashion. WTF moment number 5, an offer refused. Sal appeals to Unique for information on the inner workings of Rock's organization, given his proximity to the Queen Pen and their friendly relationship. Neek, though empathetic to Sal's loss, refuses his gratuitous offer as it would deem him a snitch, the lowest of the low. This disheartens Sal and could spell possible danger for Unique, as he's now forced to potentially choose between honor and survival. WTF moment number 4, the plot thickens. Jukebox is contacted by Nicole's father, who she previously exchanged niceties with at her gravesite. Upon arrival, Juke is also greeted by an Internal Affairs officer looking to build a case against Burke with assistance from Juke's testimony. The thorough street hustler refuses to cooperate with the investigation, surely due to her and Burke's relationship in times past, something that has greatly benefited Juke when caught in a jam. This attempt was an extension of Howard's plot against his partner, who's been undermining him all season long. Episode 10 will more than likely be her end, and where Juke's mind state resides on the other side of that will be very revealing. WTF moment number 3, a famous fail. In arguably the wildest moment of the episode, a cash-strapped famous begs Corinne to borrow Palomar's gun. Then, he foolishly approaches Freddy, who we previously saw him envying for being more financially astute despite his grimy lifestyle, and attempts to rob him in front of his apartment door. Freddy laughs off the desperate lackey, and pulls a banger of his own. However, out of options and robbery expertise, Famous stupidly pulls the trigger, adding a body to his name and Palomar's gun simultaneously. Wtf Moment Number Two, a warning unheeded. Rock orders the death of crackhead Sam following his lingering threat status he presents to the collective. His exploits in this episode were more than worthy of death, given his penchant for diarrhea of the mouth. However, he caught the break of a lifetime in an evolving Marvin, whose recent tragedies have demanded him to order his sacrifices on the side of life rather than death. Marv warns Sam to leave New York and never return, even blessing him with a knot of cash to build a new clean life with insane elsewhere. Unfortunately, Sam's addiction superseded his good sense, and he quickly exited the bust of freedom to his familiar slave stomping grounds, and also his certain death once the Thomases catch wind. In Wtf Moment Number One, Cartier is done. Cartier Fareed walks the plank in theory towards his penthouse home to another grim brand of Grown Kanan's narration. Upon getting to the top, he's surprisingly greeted by an all-black outfitted Rock and Lou, and after trading a last disrespectful barb, has his life unceremoniously ended, leaving nothing but a smoking cigar to go along with the two smoking guns. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. The title of this episode was Antitrust, and that applied to many character relationships in the story, including Howard and Bert, Marvin and Sam, Juke and Nicole's father, Sal and Unique, and Rock, Lou, and Cartier. The final trio are really interesting because Cartier rightly pinpoints how the sibling assassins don't even trust each other enough to dispose of him. And he's right, despite blood conquering all in the end. The look Lou gives Rock after she initially pulls the trigger tells all. The theme of redemption and turning over a new leaf was prevalent throughout this episode. We witnessed as much with Howard and Marvin, respectively, each man trying to usurp the devil on the shoulder opposite of the angel, and being tested by that same entity in the process. And lastly, the Famous murder has a plethora of implications to come. For the culprit himself, he'll definitely be hauled in due to the next-door neighbor witnessing the fiasco. The same neighbor who previously ID'd him and Kanan, robbing Freddie at the same location. But worse, Burke is now familiar with the name thanks to crackhead Sam. It's totally plausible that she attempts to offer him a deal in exchange for information on Kanan and his relationship to Howard. In either case, Fame just blew up his entire world and his friendship with Kanan as he once knew it. And that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on Antitrust? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.